All right, here I've got my engine upside down. I'm gonna change out this oil pan gasket and get it all ready to prime it up. See if we can put a drill on here and get some oil pressure. But let me show you some of the stuff I've gathered up. I've almost got everything I need. All right, I've got a coil for it, and I got me. It came with the plug wire, so the coil wire. So I got the coil for it. Got this oil pan gasket ready to put on there. A little bit of Permatex to put in the corners. Got me a little oil pressure gauge. Got me an oil filter here to go with my little adapter here. And what I'm waiting on now is some fittings to go in the end of this oil filter adapter. That's about the only thing I like is those fittings. They're on their way in the mail. And I'm going to take this oil pan off and these lines off here and give it one more inspection, check the rods out and look at everything real good and clean it up and put that gasket on it. And I'm going to flip it over and got me a case of oil here on the floor somewhere. I'm going to fill that tank here full of oil. There's oil. I'm going to fill that tank full of oil, hook all the lines up, tighten them all down, and see if this thing's got oil pressure. And if it pumps up like it's supposed to, then all I need is my headers and starter, plug wires, just 3 or 4 more items that I can get pretty quick. But I'm getting ready to get started on it here. I need I ordered me some AN wrenches too. So tighten these lines and loosen them, do a good job on that so they don't have no leaks on my AN lines. I hate to use a regular crescent wrench or something on them. But let's get started on this little V6 here. I'm gonna get this old gasket off here and clean this pan up real good. Put my new gasket on there. Flip it back over. See if I can pump up some oil pressure. But, these old bolts out again. I done took this thing off there once. I didn't put a gasket on it at the time. I just wanted to see what was inside. Got me some parts cleaner, and I'll throw this pan and nuts and bolts and parts cleaner there, and see if I can get it clean as I can before I put it back on there. I don't want no leaks. I guess if this external oil pump, if there's any leaks anywhere in the line, it probably won't hold any good oil pressure, so I'll have to check all my fittings and seal everything up as good as I can to see if I can pump up some good oil pressure. Boy, I hope it's got good pressure. Alright, I got me an old tub here. I'm gonna throw this pan and these extra bolts in here so I don't lose nothing. Alrighty, here we go again. Okay, get this baby cleaned up right here. I'm gonna get me some brake cleaner, clean this rail, but I think I'll use rags and spray my rags. I'm not just gonna spray brake cleaner down in this motor. I'll spray my rag and wipe the rails, use a clean rag and do it again. Just repeat until I get the rail real good and clean. Alright. Well, I got this old gasket off. Take another look at all this internals here too. Make sure everything Looks good. A little bit of movement there. Make sure none of these rod ends ain't black or rainbow colored. That'd be a sign of spun bearing or some heat, extreme heat in it. Alright, well, get this pan cleaned up. Check some of this stuff out here. I got this block rails cleaned up here. I went all the way around them good with the brake cleaner, and I guess I'll put me a little dab of silicone in these back corners and these front corners right here. They say not to put it on the rails. Say it causes it to get like oily residue like over time, and it'll squeeze out. So I've got everything dry as a bone, so I'll try putting it on that way. So I'm gonna test fit this pan one time and then glue them corners down. Well, I carried my pan out here. I got it cleaned up pretty good. And some of these holes I noticed were puffed out. You can tell from the other side somebody really tightened them. So I smoothed out all these holes and got them all straight. And I guess I'm ready to put this thing back on there. I got my rail cleaned up on my block too. Got some napkins and brake cleaner and cleaned that rail up real good. So I guess I'll throw it on there. Seeing how far I need to put the silicone out. There's no need globbing it up everywhere when the pan don't stick out very far. Alright. I guess I'll put a little glob in the corners here like instructions says. I'm first time putting on a oil pan for a Chevy. I've been a Ford man my whole life. I just got on the internet and everybody said not to seal it all the way around. Said just seal it in the four corners. So that's what I'll try to do here. Alright, I just got the corners. Didn't put that much on it either, just enough probably to hold the gasket in place and make sure it don't leak there. Alright. See if I can drop my gasket on. I'll put me some pins in that hole, corner holes for a second there. Let's see, I'll go around here and get my screws, I guess. Okay, I'm back here. Yeah, I think I'll put these corner screws in for a little while and let that silicone set up. Leave them in there just a few minutes. Let that harden up, and that way I can come back and finish snugging it down. Okay, I'm still working on my little motor here. I took my pan off and I got some parts cleaner, brake cleaner. Cleaned it all out real good. Cleaned my rail out real good all the way around. Put me a new gasket on it. Put a little dab of silicone just in the corners only. Tightened it down. Started in the center. Worked my way out on both sides. Then I got the four corners. And Now I'm ready to hook these AN lines back up. I got to put these two on the scavenge, run them around here to my pump, and then I've got one that goes around here where it feeds the engine. It's got to go to this other one, and then I'll have to plumb in my tank and my oil filter here. I got my plugs coming in the mail today for my adapter here, so it went from a pipe and thread fitting to the AN line, and I got this little plug to cap that off with because I'm going to use the oil pressure gauge on the back of the block. But I got the rest of my lines laid out and all the stuff I need to finish putting this back together. This is Thursday. I've been working on it for a day or two here, a little bit, and tomorrow's Friday. I'm supposed to get my AN wrenches in the mail tomorrow, so I'll pause this video right here, and tomorrow we'll hook those AN lines back up and tighten them down good with my new wrenches, and we'll put some of that pin grade motor oil in this tank after we get all the lines hooked up. And I think I'll put a couple quarts through the valve covers into the pan here, so that way when I put a drill on my pump, I can pull some oil directly out of the pan right away instead of it having to go from a tank all the way through the whole system. So maybe it'll take a prime air pretty quick. But anyway, them wrenches will be in the mail tomorrow, and we'll throw these lines back on there. Hey, Shirley, what you doing there, girl? Okay, I'm working on my little motor here. I got some of this stuff here, thread sealer. The only thing I'm going to put that on is this pipe threads. I'm not putting it on the AN fittings. They're not supposed to have it on them, but I'll put some out on the pipe threads. And I got my AN wrenches in the mail. Good set of AN wrenches. They fit them lines perfect. I mean, they fit them perfect. That's what I've been needing. So anyway, I'm gonna slap this thing back together here and get it all hooked up, and put my oil in that tank, some in the motor, and I'm gonna hang that tank here off a nail beside the motor here, and I'm gonna put a heater in the floor under it. I'm going to warm that oil up real good before I run it through this motor. That way it'll get in between all them bearings and everything real good. But let me twist this thing back over on its right side up, and finish getting all these lines put together. All right, I'm working on it here. I've got most of my lines hooked up. I've got my scavenge done. And all I need to do now is hook my pressure line that goes to my pressure pump right here through this oil filter. And then after that, it goes into the block down here. So that's all I got left to hook up is the line that feeds the block. And then I'm gonna put me a heater under this tank right here and warm me up some oil, and I'll be ready to take this belt off and hook my drill up. And if I can get some pressure going, I'm gonna try to hold the drill on that with one hand and get me a ratchet on this with my other hand, and turn it real slow while I'm priming it. I think I can. I'll get my granddaughter to hold my camera for me, but it looks like we're gonna see if we can prime this thing up and get some oil pressure. And if it's got pressure, I don't see why we couldn't try to get the stuff on it to fire it up. Got my oil filter hooked up where it goes from the pressure pump through the oil filter before it goes into the block, so it'll go into the block clean. And I'm getting ready to put about 6 or 8 quarts of oil in this tank, and maybe another couple in here, and then I'll let it set for just a little bit and look for some leaks, and then I'll spin it over and Hopefully it don't leak, and hopefully it builds up pressure. Throw some oil in here. This driven motor oil is kind of blackish purple looking. Okay, I got some in the tank. I guess I'll put a little bit in the valve cover here. That'll go down to the oil pan. That way it might take a prime pretty quick, I hope. Let's see if this funnel will fit down in it. Oh, it ain't gonna fit. I'm gonna have to get creative here. I don't think I've got a smaller filter. I might have one more smaller. Daggone it. Let me go look. I'll give it a try right there. It might work. If it starts leaking out, I'll have to quit. Oh shit. Okay, I want to try to prime this thing up and see if it's got any oil pressure. I didn't take the valve covers off and loosen the rockers and all that, so I'm not going to spin the engine right now. I'm just going to spin this oil pump and see if it'll build up a little bit of pressure. Here goes nothing. I've got oil in the tank, and I hope it'll build some pressure up. We're going to see. We're going to try it here. This thing's spinning here. See the gauge moving any second?
No.
You sure? Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, it's moving. Okay, put it on the gauge there. See where it's going. Tell me how high it goes.
It's high. It's going up to 4.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, my drills are slipping a little bit. But it got up there close to 40,
40.
And I was barely spinning it that much, barely above idle, I'd say, or right at idle. I mean, I was barely spinning it. And I'm probably going to end this video here because I need to take these valve covers off and make sure my rockers are all loose. And I'm going to turn the engine while I'm running the drill here. And I'm just not prepared to do that yet. I just jumped in the gun, wanted to see if it had some oil pressure. So I'll take these valve covers off and loosen everything up. And it looks like it's got good oil pressure. It got up near 40 really quick.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a drill on it, maybe 30 seconds. All right. See you guys later.